Hi guys, welcome back. Today, just got a quick overview of another kind of collectible watch that I started getting into. Now we've all heard of G-Shocks. We all know how collectible they are. And then, as I tend to do, I try to look for the niche in the collectibles, and so I found out, okay, G-Shocks are great. Everyone who collects them, but then there's a smaller niche for frogmen, which are the highest end, if you will, kind of G-Shocks. I'll explain why. So we are looking at the GF-8235, which is the 35th anniversary of the G-Shocks. It's the current gen, if you will, along with the 1000 series, or actually I should say it's not the current gen, but it was the previous gen because the new ones are now analog, but it's the current or the latest digital ones you can buy. And it kind of has this particular one has a really cool, like the previous generation colorway, if you will. It's got red, it's got a bit of yellow. Because it's a 35th anniversary model, it has gold everywhere, which is really cool. It has a gold kind of background on the LCD, which is really nice. It has gold screws, has really nice gold buttons, which are pretty cool. It has screws over here. The buckle is also marked as 35th anniversary, and I think it's just smudged. And you have a gold tang and buckle set over here. So what makes a Frogman different from other G-Shocks? Most G-Shocks have 4 screws on the back. A Frogman is actually an entire case of the old generations were titanium, but the newer ones are all stainless steel. So the entire watch head and back are made out of steel, which allows them to use a screw down case back. It's also the only watch in the G-Shock line that is ISO certified as a 200-meter dive watch, which makes it great. Now, some of the older ones were titanium, a little bit smaller, but they didn't have as many features as these newer ones do. And by features, I mean tide graph, moon graph, dive logs, etc., etc. So let me just quickly go through this this particular one, and we can see what's going on. So I'll bring it up a little bit to the screen. So here's your main screen. Let me just wipe that off real quick. Here's the main screen, and you can see it's got the tide graph at the top. It's got your seconds counter right here, and it's got your day, date, and time. It has this really cool electro loom, which I love. It also has automatic electro loom, which I'm going to turn back on. The modes on this one are your dive log. So I think it starts counting when you start saying start. Okay, or maybe it's up here. Anyways, that's the log for actual diving. That's the feature I will probably never use because I'm not a diver. Then the tide, I think this tells you for today's date when is the peak tide period for diving. And I think it kind of corresponds to the top left. It's kind of hard to see on that screen. Then you've got your world time. I've set this to India, but you can choose from any of the other ones. Your usual alarms, and it's got like 3 alarms or 3 alarms. Oh, 4 alarms and a snooze alarm. And if you want the noise, and then stopwatch, timer, countdown, and back to the date. It is a nice watch. It is designed for larger wrists, which is kind of the reason I love the concept. I love that it is the most beater proof. Like, you can beat on these watches and they'll be great, but these also have a very high collectible kind of standing, if you will, with Frogmen collectors, I'll say, more than G-Shock collectors. It does have a lug to lug that is meant to be, because it's meant to go on a wetsuit, because this is a true diving watch. Not that I know many people would, especially now that diving computers are more suitable, but I mean, it's the same thing with Rolexes and Omegas. I mean, it's very rare to find someone actually diving with that as their primary dive computer or clock. So here's the G-Shock 8235. Check out that LCD, and I'm gonna turn it back on so you can see the tide graph up top. Very cool. Awesome. Thanks, guys.